Hello and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to downtown Munich, one of my favorite cities in the world. And we're actually here to pick up a Lynk & Co. 01. Now, we've never tested or even mentioned Lynk & Co. on this channel before, but essentially they're a brand under the Geely Group, so same as Volvo, Polestar, Lotus now, others. And they have their first car now launching in Europe. It's been about 6 to 8 months since they launched in Europe. They've offered to give us one for a couple weeks for our trip. We said, hey, that sounds pretty cool. We'll make some videos with it for you guys. So you join me in Munich at the Lynk & Co. space, which is just here behind me. And we're gonna go inside, meet the guys, see the car, show you around the space. I think they call it a Lynk & Co. Club, which is pretty interesting. Then we'll collect our test vehicle and take it back to our small village where we're staying. Well, walking down the streets here in Munich, pretty lively hustle and bustle, big pedestrian traffic all around, just like people everywhere. It's pretty exciting. And this is the Lynk & Co. space. For example, if you look here at the sign, you can say, do I need a coffee? A, yes, B, A, C, B. So yes, definitely want a coffee. And when you walk in, you're just greeted right off the bat with this green color. Hey guys, and Timon's already in here, working hard as usual. And what a cool environment. First off, you can just see the design language to me reminds me of Mini back in the early 2000s, a little bit trendy, a younger brand, really cool things going on. But then you see like chairs like this that are fully 3D printed, which looks just so cool. We got to get some of these. The cool thing about this is you'll see these bags on the wall, these sunglasses, yoga mats, everything like this. These are all from typical local brands, or local to Europe at least, small brands with some, maybe a family-run business or something, real focus on sustainability. For example, these GOT bags are all made from recycled plastic found in oceans. Really cool. I kind of like this one. I feel like Rivian should partner with these guys because this is a really good idea. And you have a coffee bar right here. So we've just enjoyed some coffee, some of the best coffee on the planet. What was it, Jordan?
Something from Colombia.
Something from Colombia,
Swedish
okay.
brand.
Swedish brand, but Colombian coffee. Okay, interesting. And yeah, super neat. You can come here just as a normal person and you can purchase some coffee. So not only are they selling cars, they're now a Starbucks competitor. You can see 3D printed Lynk & Co. models right here, which is very interesting. And it's sort of got this same vibe as like a Rivian, what are those called again? Hub, yes. So Rivian Hub, Lynk & Co. Clubs, and Genesis House in New York. So we like to tour these places because I think it's important and it's actually easy for us to share where the brand's trying to go from a branding perspective. And if you keep an eye on some of our channels in the next 6 months, we're actually going to be going more in depth into these topics, into design, into branding. Not me, that's not my thing. I want to go drift around. But we found some experts and we're going to have a new channel coming to you on topics like that based out of here in Munich, which will be really interesting. Take a look over here. You have a display. You have this cool Lynk & Co. logos branded in on this side. So it's really just about creating this place to experience everything. The car stuffed in a corner in the back. Like you wouldn't even know this is a car dealership or a car showroom coming in. All of the Lynk & Co. facilities are direct sales from manufacturer to consumer. It is, the European headquarters are in Sweden, of course, but it's a Chinese brand. So in Gothenburg, I guess they have a big Lynk & Co. brand. This is the car, the Lynk & Co. 01. Underneath, it's basically Volvo XC40 or Polestar 2. It's Volvo CMA platform underneath, a little bit stretched, I think. It's a plug-in hybrid, their first car, which I actually think is a bit of a mistake. I think they should have launched this brand as a full battery electric brand in Europe at launch. In China, they have different models, but just for the European market, it's just the 01. And it's a really crazy, interesting model as to how this all works. You can see I've kicked by accident this little price tag, $550 or euros. Same thing today, it's 1-to-1 actually. So this is 550 euros per month, everything included, insurance, the whole bit. Which just seems like a crazy deal, especially when you consider, listen to this, like a crazy well-built car. It's basically a Volvo XC40. You guys know we love Polestar 2. We love XC40. This is the same feeling, the same vibe. very premium car. Now, the interesting thing about Lynk & Co. is we're not here so much as to just review the car, because the car should have been battery electric in my opinion. Again, I know I said that, but it's more about the brand, because battery electric vehicles will be coming. Their next model will be fully electric, and that's when I think things get really interesting. But they've just had a massive blowout success with this Lynk & Co. 01 here in Europe. That is just crazy. I'll give you some facts and figures. In Europe, especially here in Germany, 97% of people are basically subscribing to this car. And in terms of subscribing costs, it's 550 euros per month. And what's kind of interesting is, we'll just step this way so we're not in his way, sorry. If you wanted to get an XC40, which has a smaller recharge plug-in range, this has a 17 kilowatt hour battery, gross 14 usable. It's 69 kilometers of electric range in WLTP, 60 kilowatt electric motor. So not that fast in electric mode. We'll see how that all feels. An XC40, similar configuration, I don't even think a plug-in hybrid, I Care by Volvo subscription, is about 200 euros per month more, and you need a 3-month commitment minimum. This is when you order it, you give them your first month's payment, no security deposit. That's the only thing. That gets applied to your first month, and you can give it back after 4 weeks. It's just 550 euros, or you can keep it for as long as you want. You have 1,250 kilometers per month that you can put on it, 15 cents a kilometer if you go over. If you're going to be going on vacation or doing something else, you can have someone borrow your car through their sharing model, and then they can basically pay you to borrow your car. It's a subscriber car. What do I care if they do anything with it? The miles they put on it don't count to the miles on your subscription. So when it's on someone else's profile, they're driving it, you can earn some income, you're good. We have heard of stories of people actually making money by getting these. They get them on subscription, they lease them out to people, or like through their app or whatever, they walk up, their mobile phone unlocks the car, and they're actually making money doing this, which is really interesting. The big question mark that leaves to me is like, okay, if 97% of people are subscribing to these things, how the heck are they going to make any money as a company? And that's mostly rental car companies. We were at the Munich airport just recently and saw a sea of these in the parking garage, and like Hertz, I don't know which company, whatever, they're just writing the checks for them. So you get, roughly half full pop payment, the other half subscription for consumers. I think it works quite well. Not so much about the car right now. That's just a quick overview. I guess I should mention 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, plug-in hybrid, front-wheel drive only in this particular one. Looking quite nice, feeling really premium. And yeah, 550 euros or dollars per month seems pretty insane. And then you just get to the rest of the lounge. This is one of many lounges. I think there's 7 in Europe. I hear the one in Berlin has like a double layer with like a disco hall, and you can have all these parties. They're going to be having events here so to bring people in. Very similar vibe to the Rivian hub in the US. I just think that's the way to do it with a brand. You want loyal customers. You want people that believe in your brand to be reconnected with you. Multiple touch points. Bring them back in for events, and these types of places really do feel cool to hang out in, and it's a great way to promote the car. So let's, I think that's about it for the Cube. No, not the Cube. What's it called again, Jordan? The club. We've filmed so many videos the last days. I'm gonna go have a seat in one of these 3D printed chairs for a minute. We have to sign some documents, and then our test vehicle is just parked over on the other side. I hear we actually have some Swedish license plates, which is cool. By the way, just driving around Munich, we've been seeing Lynk & Co's all the time the last couple weeks. They're all registered in the same place, and we're like, are these all company cars? What's going on? They're all the subscription cars. They all register in one place. So I thought that was quite interesting. Oh, another interesting thing, since we're on the topic, you can get 2 specifications of this car, black or blue, literally it. All come packaged the same way, same interior, same options, same wheels. It's just black or blue. And I know I showed you the inside, but it just seems so nice on the inside, especially considering the price. I can't believe how inexpensive it is. If you have an accident, by the way, the insurance deductible is 500 euros. So it's 550 bucks a month, crash it into a wall, 500 euros, and you're on to the next one. And insurance is included in that, so it doesn't even hit your personal insurance. It's a cool idea. I kind of like this. If I lived here, I think I would probably get one of these just to bomb around in. It's pretty sweet. let's go get our test vehicle, see how it drives. So we just left the Lynk & Co showroom over here. They've handed us the keys right here to our test vehicle. Really nice key, by the way. Take a look at this. Pretty hefty, buttons on the side, very Volvo style. You know, again, it's built on CMA, so it's pretty much a Volvo underneath. And it looks actually really good with these running lights on. We've just kicked it on to cool it down because we got a black one, and it's actually unusually warm in Munich this week. And so we have the black, one of two colors that you can get, black or blue, but we still have the blue accents in the wheels and everything. Looks pretty neat. This is the charging port, by the way. Only a 3.6 kilowatt onboard charger. However, I heard that there were a few that left the factory with a 6.6. They're not sure if this is one of them. They said it's probably not, but we should try that out. 15-ish, 14, 15 kilowatt hour usable. I hope we have the faster onboard charger, but I doubt we do. Interesting blue thing. It almost looks like when you get a new car from the factory and you forget to peel off the plastic a bit. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop inside. Yep, getting nice and cool in there. We're gonna go for our first drive. We have the Arteon plug-in hybrid, the Volkswagen workhorse for us this trip. This thing's been amazing, just sitting at top speed on the Autobahn nonstop as our filming vehicle. This is getting returned, and then this will basically take its place of making these videos possible. We also have some other test vehicles coming up, but these plug-in hybrids work pretty well because we're doing huge distances in short amount of time, so it's nice to have a little bit of combustion just to make sure we can get to the places on time. So Jordan, what do you say you hop in with me and we go for a ride? You join us now inside of the Lynk & Co. What are you looking for?
How to hold my seat up.
Oh yeah, manual
Manual
seats
seats.
on your side, but power on mine.
Gotta save money somewhere.
But they really put a lot in this thing, I think. So we're gonna drive it in B mode. We have a full charge. It's predicting 61 kilometers. Electric parking brake going. Funny, the steering wheel doesn't come close enough, just like the XC40 and Polestar 2. Steering wheel never comes close enough. So if I click X here, we should, whoops, climate settings. How do we get back to menu, nav, boom. We're in downtown Munich right now. I'm gonna go to the right. Yeah, we can turn her off. So far, everything feels pretty good. They're letting us out. Thank you very much. And yeah, so far feels just like an XC40, maybe a tad bit longer actually, which it is.
Yeah, it feels just like
the brake pedal is fully brake-by-wire with, I think, the same tuning as the Volvo stuff. That's a very familiar feeling. We're in hybrid mode right now, so if I hit the throttle harder, there, now the combustion engine allegedly is kicked on, but I don't hear it. It's their own 3-cylinder engine. It's not a Volvo engine.
Really?
Yep. And now I can hear it doing its little cold start. Gives me an engine temperature gauge here, which is very nice. It says we can go just about 600 kilometers. It's not fully full of fuel. It's one tick down from max. And then we can also, just because we're in the city, we can go into pure mode. And so now it's fully electric.
Is there a kickdown switch?
There's no kickdown switch.
Oh.
But it's actually, it has to finish its cold start cycle. This is a very Volvo Geely Group situation. So it's still using a bit of combustion. You'll hear that. Once the cats warm up, then it'll shut off. But wow, is it quiet in here.
It's nice.
Really quiet in here. I mean, just even getting out of the Arteon, which is like the nicest Volkswagen you can kind of get. This is a whole level above. The materials feel, I would say, somewhat nice-ish. I don't really know where to go here, so we're just kind of driving all over the place behind the F-Type.
Yeah, they used inexpensive materials in a nice way, kind of like the Ford Maverick XLT, that type of situation where it's plastic, but it looks and feels okay.
Yeah, seems great. We're gonna play around with this a little bit more, but so far, just an impression of high quality right off the bat smacks you in the face, I would say.
Yep.
Good display, good infotainment, everything works as you would think. Let's crank the AC because it's getting toasty in here.
Yeah.
No tinted windows in Europe, that's like a thing apparently. And we got to let this giant amount of pedestrian traffic cross. I guess let's just find out what happens when we go hard throttle in electric mode.
When you do turn signal, it turns on the 360 camera.
Oh,
and
wow.
The wide view thing.
That's pretty impressive.
Fascinating.
Okay, so just crawling through here. Steering is so light, which is nice. So hard throttle, full throttle. So then the combustion engine kicks on. So that's a downside. There's no
exactly.
kick down switch.
Yeah.
There's no way to go 100% electric, even just cruising. But we'll find all these little intricacies and have a video in the future explaining them. Nice spec Q4 right there. And now we're back to electric. Yeah, so it's really like 75% throttle is when it seems to do this switch. All right, well, we got to get out of the city. It's regenning right now, but it does blend in creep and brake pedal, just like Volvo, pretty sharp. Let's hit the highway and see how this thing does. We are now merging on the highway for the first time, so let's take a look. We're in electric mode. This is pretty much wide open. So if you go to the floor in electric mode, it will kick the combustion engine on. This is 60 kilowatts, needs a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, there, the combustion engine's now on. Let's just put it into power for now. Well, this is hybrid, I guess. And now it's like a Volvo, where I have this little bar where I can use up the electric. If I go past, combustion engine's now on and we're accelerating away. So that's pretty typical. If I go to power mode though, boom, there we go. We get a rev counter. The combustion engine's always on, and then I can shift gears with the stock, which is kind of nice. So here we are, shifting up and down the gear range. And 7th. So quiet.
This is nice.
So for model year 2022, they gave it double pane windows and the 360-degree cam that the model year 2021 did not have. But this is just really quite nice. What is your impression of the car so far?
I'm impressed, especially for the price. That whole, I guess, borrowing situation, whatever you call it. Subscription. Seems to be intriguing, and I think it would do fairly well in the U.S. Just no news of it coming yet.
Well, I think we have a de-restricted section up here. So let's see how this thing works, shall we? I see no speed limit sign right over here, so we'll... Oh, and a van coming in front, but we should test the acceleration, should we?
Yeah.
All right, so full power. Quiet. And it boogies. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, hammer down. Nice and smooth, upshift. Giving it full beans. Nice, and there's 200 kilometers an hour. That's good.
Yeah, feels solid.
Brake pedal's a bit too sharp in my opinion. It's way sharper than even the Volvo stuff is, I think. But yeah, I mean, good. So most Volvos are now limited to 180 kilometers per hour. This one can do 220.
210.
Or 210.
Yep.
That's a big change.
A good amount, yeah.
Thumbs up from the biker up there.
Bikers love Lynk & Co's.
Bikers love Lynk & Co's. All right, here we go. Back to full power. Some big torque dips in between gear changes, and that's mostly because the combustion engine, or I should say the electric motor, is between the transmission. So it has to shift gears and cut electricity. But here we are, ripping, and then we're back into a speed zone here. Can we hit 200 before it? Not quite, and hard on the brakes.
So the brakes are accentuated how rough they are in slower speeds, right, around town.
Yep.
Same with the 60 kilowatt electric motor feels okay in really slow speed environments.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Highway, don't expect to just rush on down the on-ramp with full electric.
Right, yeah, you definitely for the highway want to use combustion, but that's the most efficient use of this dual system. And other than that, I think you want to stick to electric in the city. And I'm kind of liking it. It's really an urban vehicle designed for small spaces. But yeah, we'll do electric range testing with it a whole bunch. We're going to head back to our little cabin out into a village. So we'll find some good driving roads out that way, see how it handles a little bit. And we'll give you our final thoughts on the first drive of the Lynk & Co. 01. Why couldn't they just call it the 1?
I don't know.
Why'd they have to put the O in front of it? Well, you join us now outside of our village. I like the shifter. You can go left and right with it. Very similar to Volvo stuff. That's all that way.
Yep.
Sounds good. Meaty little 3-cylinder.
Yeah, it really does.
It's so quiet though. Everything in this car is just a whole step quieter than even XC40, it feels like.
Refined driving experience. Like
I would say front wheel drive. Sounds good. Brakes are right there. This guy's ripping this Ford Transit Custom, that's for sure. Yeah, let's see him do a burnout out of here. So yeah, we have it in ESC Sport mode, front wheel drive only. I'm gonna launch it out of here. Uh-oh, washer fluid's low. Okay, we can hide that. Dual clutch, so it's having to do all this. Let's see if there's a launching setting of some kind. Yes. It just blew the tires off. So it can do a burnout.
Nice.
Huge power dips on the acceleration.
Yeah, it's like manual.
I think what's happening is, you know, it has to ramp down the electric motor every time it does a DCT gear shift, and that's just what it feels like to me, and it's not as refined as other systems. We drove Magna's Intelligent something or other with that was in the Evoque. That felt smoother. This has some torque steer. I like that the motor does the little fart noise on upshifts, goes which is pretty good. Following our Transit dude. Smart convertible in orange, hell yeah.
Looks good.
Love it. So like you can actually have some fun in this thing. It's like a big front wheel drive, tall, hot hatch. It's got some good torque. The big question will be is what happens when it runs out of battery. And we have it in battery hold mode right now, and I can already see it going down because every time I give it the beans, it's using the electric motor to fill in the torque dips. Feels a little bit soft and floaty, but nice spacing on the road. I can put it in drive, for example, and then we can just watch the tach. But the thing with this turbocharged 3-cylinder is it's a Lynk & Co. only motor, not a Volvo engine. I don't believe Volvo uses this transmission either. And so to me, it just feels a little bit like they need to finish the tuning is my initial impression, but it makes torque everywhere. It's a very refined 3-cylinder. Feels like you can just hammer on this thing as much as you want, and it wouldn't care. It doesn't really need to downshift. It's like 3rd, 4th, and 5th gear are all almost the same ratio, which is pretty interesting. And now we're coming into a little village. Aired out S-Class right over here. Wow. Totally failed air suspension. Heading out, and let's go wide open again.
Here comes that smart car.
Big torque dip on the gear change. Man, this thing boogies, that's for sure.
I kind of like the torque dip. It's kind of funky.
Yeah, it feels like stuff's going on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so we're going to do all the electric range tests and everything like that, but it's the first time we've ever driven a Lynk & Co. And I would say if this is the direction the brand is heading, they're in a good direction.
Everyone's wondering what Lynk & Co. means and what it stands for.
Oh, we asked them.
Yep.
Do you know what it means?
Nothing.
It means absolutely nothing. They just thought it sounded nice to put N Co next to something.
Yeah, they said if you add N Co, people take you seriously. It's like, that's
I like that. That's kind of nice. So yeah, we'll just continue along, and I say we just picked this thing up. We'll see you over at our Airbnb in our small village of, what's it called? Tandern, something like that. We're out here with the cows.
Yep.
Love it. See you soon. Well, we've made it back with the Lynk & Co. and so many thoughts. The first that comes to mind is, first of all, we've seen a ton of these around. The subscription model, this €550, everything packaged in, no time commitment, is working for the consumer. The big question is that enough for the manufacturer to make money doing this? We've also seen quite a few rental cars, which they get the full price sale, but the model is working. We've seen a ton of subscription ones out and about. They're all registered in this one place in Germany, and it works. The car itself feels so solid. When you close the door, when you hit a bump, it's really solid. The one part, though, where it does start to fall apart is in the tactile driving stuff. So the front end and the rear end are not talking to each other. The front end is a little bit sharper. You get this nice turn in, and then the rear end is just lumbering along for the ride. It's a little bit different than Polestar 2 in the sense where they tried to make it smoother, but kept the front kinematics. It's a little bit awkward when you really drive it hard. The other thing is when it's shifting gears under hard load, you get these massive torque dips on gear shifting, really long downshift times, really long upshift times, and it's a dual clutch transmission. The only thing I can think is it must be having to go slow either because the 3-cylinder can't spin up or down, or the electric motor is getting in the way. There's one other major problem that I'm seeing, and then I'll tell you some about the good stuff as well. And that is, I have the same problem in XC40 and Polestar 2. It's where I sit I have to put my knees so far into the dashboard to hold the wheel at where I would want it, which is like a 90 degree. I like to have the wheel close, but I don't need to be this close to the dash. And then if you see this centerpiece here, it doesn't lock in. So if I'm here and I have my hand like this, you know, my elbow just reaching the wheel, as soon as we accelerate, now I can't reach the steering wheel and my elbow has to go here. This is really frustrating. I'm sure we'll find more things as time goes on. The sound system is okay, but not mind-blowing. But then it's like, how much can you nitpick? Because the door thud, the space, the styling, it's a good looking car. You know, generally, at least premium looking. Maybe it's not the most stylish thing, right? This front end's a little bit awkward, but when you see them around, it's like, oh, that's not a cheap car. It's just a car that, you know, seems to be really nicely put together. And it is, and it's cheap. I mean, 550 euros doesn't sound like cheap money anymore, but I think these days it kind of is compared to lease prices. I've heard in the US a lot of people are paying over $1,000 a month for their cars. This thing is like half of that, and yeah, it seems to be pretty good. So a bit of a mixed bag, but how much can we really complain at that subscription model? And the best thing about this is a lot of our viewers live here in Germany, right? And if there's like a 15, 20, 25 month wait to get an electric car, guess what? Just subscribe to one of these things until your order comes in. Totally flexible. Your new car's coming in, you just hand this one back. There's one last point that I haven't made about the subscription model is you may not always get a fresh car. You may get one with some miles that someone's turned in. Sometimes you might get a fresh car, sometimes you may not. Who cares? It's just like a rental car for a month at a really reasonable price. So I'm in. I think it's cool, and really looking forward to putting some miles on this thing over the coming weeks. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Thanks for joining us to come pick up the Lynk & Co. 01. Overall, just blown away by the value. I think it's pretty impressive.